Hey and welcome back to the Celtic Way YouTube channel, X page and Facebook page, I believe. My name is Ryan McGinley. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Tony Haggerty, live from Fir Park in Motherwell this morning. How are you doing, Tony?
I'm very well. Just going to try and fight our way through this, through the music. I'm just been handed the team sheet. As you can see, the Celtic team's on the screen, so you can have a look at that, guys. Big talking points are that Nawrocki comes back in, Johnston's back in, and Tomoki Iwata's in. Kyogo up front on his own balance, a bit supported by Kuhn and Maida. So pick the bones out of that, young Ryan, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll read the team in full. So it's Joe Hart in goals, Greg Taylor, Liam Scales, Mike Nawrocki and Alistair Johnston back from injury. Cal McGregor and Tomoki Iwata, the two in the midfield, and Matt O'Reilly's just further ahead. Maeda and Kuhn are deployed in the wings, and Kyogo's the lone player up front. The subs today are Scott Bain, Lewis Palmer, Adam Ida, Yang, O, Carter Vickers, Bernardo, Kelly and Ralston. So yeah, I see a few people talking about this team when it was announced there, out with maybe Cam and Carter Vickers. Probably one of, if not close to one of the stronger teams that Celtic can name at this point in time. Would you agree with that?
I'm puzzled as to why Kuhn has been included. I've not seen a lot from Kuhn to convince me that he deserves to start today, but happy that Iwata's in. I wrote a piece during the week, didn't I?
He did.
About,
I think he read it. I think Brendan Rodgers read it. The Ron seal, he does what he says in the tin, I believe.
Yes, that's what it was. So Iwata's in, so further proof I've needed it. Brendan tunes into the moment before and stuff, so happy with that. Cheers for that, Brendan. Obviously, Nawrocki coming back in alongside Scales. Johnston back too. Maybe didn't want to risk Cameron Carter Vickers, which is possibly sensible. Maybe give him half an hour, ease him back into things. So, yeah, put Kyogo back up front. Hopefully, playing on the shoulder, last defender. We've been calling for that too. Here's hoping that Maeda and Kuhn can supply him with the ball because he needs service, Ryan. Bottom line.
Yeah, I think everybody knows what is required and what is expected of Celtic this afternoon, this lunchtime. You know, everybody knows the Rangers score yesterday. They know that Rangers blew Hearts away 5-0, admittedly. You know, 5 goals to the good. You can't really complain about a performance like that. 5 points to the good as well. You know, Celtic now have a game in hand. They're now leading the charge to bring it back to 2 points, you're hoping, by the end of play today. But Celtic and Brendan Rodgers know exactly what is required of them today. But I think even more so, or just as much actually, that there needs to be a performance today. You know, last week, it will still be in a lot of people's heads. You know, they were cruising for most of the game, well, for large parts of the game against Kilmarnock, but with a goal lead, you're always worried about about a fight back from the away side, and that's what happened. They got an equaliser. I think Celtic support and people that are covering Celtic, they want to see a 90-minute performance today, you know, from start to finish. There's been no convincing games against Motherwell this season. Every game has been close between Celtic and Motherwell. The home game was a draw, the away game, it took a 97th minute winner from a player that's on the bench today in Lewis Palmer. So 90-minute performance, a couple of goals. There needs to be goals actually because of the goal difference too. So what are you expecting today, Tony, is what I'm trying to ask. And a long question made short. What are you expecting today?
I genuinely don't know what Celtic are going to turn up today. Kuhn's been given the stage, hasn't he? So let's hope that he can turn it on. And I'm not criticising him per se, I'm just sort of going on the evidence that I've seen so far that personally I don't think he warrants a start today, but the manager's given him a start, so go and do it then. And Celtic are 5 points behind and 8 goals behind, I believe, aren't they?
My goodness.
So, you know, simple, first and foremost, they need to win the game, right? That's a given. Anything less than panic stations will be well and truly reached and arrived, if not already, amongst some Celtic supporters. But winning style, I'll take that as well. But winning the football match, you've got to win the football match and take it from there. But, so there's guys coming in today, hopefully a point to prove. He's freshened it up, so I'm hoping that Celtic go out. And if they can make a statement win a bit like Rangers did yesterday, I would like to see that. They've got 12 games, right, to string it together now.
12 cup finals.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. There's no room or margin for error. And we know about the team across the other side of the city. There's momentum there. Celtic can only control what they can do. And so, Kuhn, Maida, Kyogo, they're going to be important players for Celtic, and O'Reilly as well. Hopefully O'Reilly hit some kind of form today. I'm delighted that Iwata's in. Maybe be able to allow McGregor and O'Reilly to push forward and help create more.
Yep.
I think that's been Celtic's problem. Creation, hasn't it? Creating of chances, taking of chances, but looking like scoring. Because whenever Celtic are one goal up, they need a second goal to give them that breathing space.
Yeah. There seems to be hardly any breathing space in games nowadays for Celtic, because whenever they get a goal, it's only the one goal they've got. They don't really come in spurts, the goals. Sometimes they even concede a goal first and they're having to play catch up in the game in order to get a point. In some games, you look at the Aberdeen game, for example, the Hibs game. I know they got a last minute. They got an equaliser. It was Hibs that got an equaliser in that game, and then Celtic get the last minute winner for the penalty spot. But I want to see some well-created goals today. And I'm talking about how many deflected goals Celtic have had since the winter break. It was a good created goal last week from Kyogo. That's Kyogo's strength, just peeling off the defender and getting a header. He's quite a small guy, but he's very good in there. It's all about getting Kyogo free. Kyogo is the key to everything good for Celtic. If you can get him free and get him opportunities, more than one, give him 2, 3, 4 opportunities, he'll take them, but he just needs opportunities, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think that's what the manager was alluding to when he was saying interspersed among the poor results was some good play. He was talking about like Kyogo's goal last week from Ralston Delivery. It's a brilliant header, but that get lost in the fact that Celtic never won the football match. No, and the games that they have drawn and lost this season, admittedly there's been some decent bits of play, but as I say, it gets lost when they don't get the result. And results paramount today for Celtic. If they can produce some great play and score a few goals into their bargain, excellent. But the manager's also right as well. The title destiny is still in Celtic's hands, right? So they have to. Are they capable of going on a run? Lots of people would dispute that and say no. But can they go on a run? Then the answer's yes.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to. So
time is of the essence here, really. Yeah,
so you've still got to play Rangers twice, and and everybody will sick and fed up hearing about Rangers. It's not about what Celtic do. They were the hunted. They are now the hunter. So let's see if they can cope with chasing Rangers down. And it starts today. You said there are 12 cup finals and that old and that, but every game is just going to be as vital as the next one. But this is the next game, so it's the gauntlet has been thrown down. The challenge, go and meet it.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, get your score predictions in the comment section. We'll try and read out as many as we can. Thank you to the 340, 350 people that have already joined us. Really do appreciate that. Glad that you're choosing to spend your pre-match with us. We know you've got plenty of options, but we do appreciate you coming in and joining the show. A wee bit of Elton John. Nobody's melting here, that's for sure. It is very cold. I can definitely feel the coldness. We're getting loads of ones in already. 3-1 Celtic says a tin of tartan paint. I think I've been struck by that one before. 3-0 Celtic says Mike S. 3-1 Celtic. This is the day we kick on, says Charlie. 3-0 says Stuart Grant. 3-1. It seems like 3 is the magic number with the contributors and the commenters. Something along those lines would be quite good. Yeah. Just looking at the team, would you want to talk about Iwata in a bit more detail and what he'll actually bring to the squad? Because I think he'll bring a bit more solidity to that midfield. A defensive-minded character that is happy to put in the hard yards and put in a tackle. Very different from his compatriots and Kyogo and Maeda. He's a guy that likes a tackle. He likes to get in about it. Maybe even different from Hatate as well. I know people get mixed up with the two when they were playing in the same team, but he's definitely tough as nails. He'll get in and about it, and this is a big opportunity for him today, isn't it?
A brilliant opportunity for him, and we spoke about it last week. Celtic needed a second goal, right? So they needed Iwata to come on and just shore up that midfield protect, right? And then let McGregor and O'Reilly roll forward. I know they weren't playing great, but they can still create. And a second goal killed that game last week. But everybody sensed the nervousness. You can see it and I can see it. I was disappointed in the manager in that sense that he never brought Iwata on, because he told us he's fit. So he's back in today. So just do what he does. I think he's a technically good player. And never
I really like him.
Very rarely wastes the ball when he has it. And there's a wee bit of steel there, a bit of solidity. I'm not saying he runs around putting his foot in everywhere and, illegally or anything, but it's just, I want to see McGregor and O'Reilly functioning forward, supporting the front three guys, because that's when they can create the most damage. If you've got a trustworthy player, manager said he was trustworthy, sitting there like Iwata, who can give the ball to football players. You can't underestimate winning the ball and giving it to football players. So if you can do that and give it to the football players, the onus is on the football players to create for Celtic and make it happen then. Because Iwata's going to do his job, isn't he?
Yeah.
Lots of people were saying that it didn't happen at Kilmarnock when Celtic lost in it, and I get that. But again, that's an unforgiving surface. I don't know how many times Iwata will have played on surfaces like that. So, huge opportunity today. Here's hoping he takes it alongside Kuhn as well.
Yeah, how are you feeling about Mike Nawrowski back in the team? I noticed that Stephen Welsh isn't on the bench whatsoever. I wonder if that's tactical or if it's an injury that he's maybe picked up. But they've got great cover, arguably the greatest cover in Scotland in Cameron Carter-Vickers. But Mike Nawrowski he did struggle. He did struggle at Aberdeen. I don't think it'll be as tough for him today. Maybe touch wood on that. He's not coming up against a player like Miovski, but a big opportunity for him today to show that he is up for being a first team player at Celtic. It's time for him to stop being on the bench and stand up and be counted for, really.
It doesn't matter how we feel, he's in the team.
Yeah.
Right, so any Collingwood at Celtic supporters they're there then, aren't they? With Mike Nawrowski being there, you would have felt 100 times better if you'd have handed that team sheet and Cameron Carter-Vickers was at the back of the pack. But got to get behind the guy now, and the guy's got to, Mike Nawrowski's got, as you say, stand up, step up to the plate and shows that you are the player that Celtic purchased in the summer. Lots of people have had their say on him. Fine, this is what players and reputations are made and carved out. Can you do it when the pressure's on? And the pressure's on Celtic.
Big time.
So
Big time.
The supporters, yourself, myself, they're hoping for Mike Nawrowski just to say, right, this is why you're here. Can you handle this? Go and prove to me that you can handle it.
Kind of a player that needs to handle it today. I don't think he's had the greatest start to his Celtic career thus far. I know he scored at Aberdeen, but he's flattered the deceiver in a lot of games, I would say. Nicholas Kuhn coming in. I think this is his second start for the club after a not so great start against Hibs, admittedly. Big chance for him today. Nobody is taking their opportunity at the wings. Maybe that's why he's been thrown back in. It's a bit of a it's a randomiser, almost pick a winger out of two. The only player that doesn't seem to be getting any game time at the moment is James Forrest, who seems so far away from it at this point in time. Kuhn's back in. Do you think today will be the day that we see him step into prominence in this team? You're hoping so.
Has to be, Ryan. They're playing spin the bottle with the wingers, aren't they? You know my thoughts. In my team, I wanted Ida and Kyogo to start in a four-man midfield, but the manager still clearly thinks that width's the key to breaking teams down, and that's fine. I'm not saying I'm delighted with it, but trust your judgment on that. Kuhn, and I'm not having a go at Kuhn because I get it takes time to settle, but he was an absolute passenger against Hibs.
Yeah.
Showed nothing. Pittodrie came on, he looked really lively, got a deflected goal, and everything that he did at Aberdeen, he went missing at Easter Road.
Didn't consolidate on his good performance, his good cameo against
Aberdeen. Right. We'll get a rough idea today, and he's another who has been trusted with a mission of great importance. So, Brendan Rodgers live or die by these decisions.
It's got to count for something. The fact that Brendan Rodgers has picked him in this crunch match today, he must be doing something in training to show that he is of that ability to come in and make a difference. Yang's on the bench. We know that he got a start last time Celtic played at Fir Park. Admittedly, it got taken off at half time because he was anonymous. Kuhn can't go through the same here. He has to be front and centre of everything positive in Celtic's attack and play.
That's what you deduce from that this week Kuhn's caught the eye. And because the manager lays a lot of stock in what players do at training. He said that before. We've spoken about that numerous times. And so this is a wonderful opportunity for Kuhn and I'm just loving this song because I love Squeeze as a band. It's a great tune. But Kuhn, again, go and do something. Go and cement yourself, your reputation in the eyes of the Celtic supporters. This is what it counts, Ryan. This is the business end of the season. Let's do the business.
It really is. It really is. Time is of the essence for Celtic. They know what they have to do, and they have to go out and execute it. They have to execute it with a bit of style. They need to start a run. The run needs to start today. And I think, as much as people are saying that they want maybe they'd be happy with a 1 or 2 goals, I think there needs to be a performance as well. There needs to be something for people to cling on to and say that, right, this team can go on this 12-game run that they need for the title and the Scottish Cup if that comes along with it. Because if they go on a run, it doesn't matter what competition they play in. They'll just win games that are in front of them. They've got the Livingston game in a couple of weeks. It should be, it's a favourable tie for Celtic, but, it's another home game to sort of build momentum. But the momentum has to start today. There needs to be a bit of style today. There needs to be a fight back. And there needs to be that intensity that Brendan Rodgers was talking about in his press conference because, if we're being perfectly honest, we've not seen that for large parts of the season. We've seen individual moments of quality from players, but in terms of that intensity, I think it's very stop-start. It's about time that Celtic show that they can do that today.
Look at the front three. What's the words that Brendan Rodgers used? Intensity and speed. They're speed merchants, Iwata Kuhn and Kuhn, right? And I think that's why they're in the team. So you have to see elements of intensity and speed today. Celtic have to ramp it up a notch, and I think that's possibly why they're in the side. They're going to try and attack down the flanks at pace, and he spoke about that. He said that's what his Swansea and his Liverpool team and Celtic team when he was first here were renowned for. Well, let's see it today. Let's go out and attack with that intensity, speed and pace that you're talking about, because that's been sadly lacking, and that was what I wrote in the piece on Friday. That it's been pedestrian, mundane, and I used the word, for want of a better word, boring. And that's what the Celtic supporters believe they're watching with Brendan Rodgers teams at this moment in time. They're boring, it's laborious. So change the record, change the narrative. Go out and blitz Motherwell and hit them with something today and see where it takes you. And I think with the inclusion of Maeda, Kyogo and Kuhn as the front three, I think that's maybe what he's aiming for today. Because he laid great emphasis on that intensity and speed.
We bit of thunder in that front three. There's one player that we need to talk about. We need to talk about his form or lack of. Maybe it's just bad form. He does have form. It's bad form at the moment. And Matt O'Reilly, he scored the all-important winner the last time the two sides met at Fir Park. I was back. What was it? September. My goodness, time is flying. If that was September, that's nearly March already. Crazy how time flies. But Matt O'Reilly, admittedly, since the winter break, has not been at the levels that Celtic fans and Celtic supporters and people who follow the club expect him to be. Celtic's. You can probably hear the Celtic fans as well. The Celtic players are warming up. He's not hit those levels since he came back from the winter break. Don't know if maybe the Atletico Madrid rumour or interest has maybe, I don't know, taken his eye off the ball. Not even meant to, but subconsciously done so. Today's the day he needs to get back. Celtic are not going to win the league if Matt O'Reilly isn't playing to the top form. He is a difference maker. He's transformative from the midfield to the front. He needs to kick on today. There needs to be something shown by Matt O'Reilly. A goal, an assist, or just a good both, or a good performance. Something. He needs to be front and centre because I don't think a lot of people would have complained if Paulo Bernardo played today. That neither of them are firing at the moment. Matt O'Reilly needs to really step up and be counted today. He looked a shoe-in to be Player of the Year just a couple of months ago. Now I'm not so sure because of his current form, but he's still got time to catch up and make sure that prize is his at the end of the season. And if he can do that, then then it'll be quite likely that Celtic have done the business and they'll win the league because he is the difference maker.
I don't think anybody needs to tell Matt O'Reilly about his recent performances. And we've spoken about this before as well. Matt O'Reilly's got a Danish international call-up to Euro 2024 to cement. So he really does have to start catching the eye now. As I say, we're reaching the business end. He doesn't want that to be in jeopardy at all. And you know what the Danish selectors are like. You know, he's flirted with it. He's made the breakthrough, but he could easily miss the.
He's on the borderline with that because they've got a really talented attacking line.
So his Euro 2024 fate's in his own hands as well. So he knows, like, today starts the kind of the last dozen games, right? So he has to step up today. And I think the manager will have said to him, ignore the last few performances. Just relax on it, because you know he's like Matt's a deep thinker as well, isn't he? And he tells you, he speaks to his guru and all that kind of stuff, his life coach. So I think there have been a lot of chats recently in terms of just where his headspace is at and where his mind's at. And I think he just has to focus on what he was doing earlier in the season, because it wasn't broke, it didn't need fixed. And I think Matt O'Reilly was one who suffered in the general malaise of the team. He suffered greatly because he was producing excellent displays week in, week out, and they've tapered off big time recently. You were even talking about dropping him. I said keep him in. Well, he's been kept in the team, so he has to turn around and repay the manager's faith and show why he's been kept in the team.
He's been kept in the team because of the player that we know he is, rather than his form at the moment. Because his form doesn't. I know he's not the only culprit, but Palmer's had a couple of really shocking games and he's out of the team. Matt O'Reilly's had a few below par games and he remains in the team. That shows the good faith and the goodwill that O'Reilly has with his manager and Brendan Rodgers. But that can't last forever. He needs to start, upping it. Bernardo will be knocking on the door saying, right, I need game time here, because if I want to get a permanent deal at Celtic, I need to show that I can do it and show it in games. He did show that between Christmas and New Year, or round about that festive period fixtures, the festive fixture period. But he's not getting as much game time anymore. I'm delighted to see Iwata back in that team. I think it looks better for the midfield. Hoping to see McGregor kick on as well, because his form has been up and down too.
Matt O'Reilly's not alone in this.
No, it's just that there's a lot of pressure on him, because you expect him to be at the level, and when he's not at the level, I think it's very obvious when Matt O'Reilly's not at the level that you expect him to be at, which is, it's difficult. It's sad to treat players differently, but you rely, when you're watching Celtic, you rely on O'Reilly making something happen, especially this season. When that doesn't happen, there's a chasm in the team, isn't there?
It's been telling that the midfield's been underperforming both McGregor and O'Reilly in recent weeks, because they've struggled, and you need those two big players to play. So I'm expecting some kind of reaction from both of those players today, and in a positive way. I hasten to add, as I always say, we'll reconvene at 2 o'clock at some point, see what it takes us. But Celtic really do need to issue some kind of statement today in terms of performance and in terms of winning goal margin as well. Have they got it? The tools to do it? The manager's picked a team that he thinks can do it. Well, go and do it.
Yeah. Everybody can probably hear the music in the background. We know how loud it is. We hear it. It is even louder in person. Speaking of high hopes, that's currently playing on the tannoy just now. Have you got high hopes for today, Tony? What do you expect? Do you expect a fight back from Celtic today? Do you expect a message to be sent?
I'm always got high hopes for Celtic. I'm always positive. I'm always, glass half full. But it's up to those players to give the fans and the Celtic supporters something to cheer about, and they've been underperforming and underachieving. There's no doubt about that. It's time to just put that behind them. And as I say, 12-game home stretch. So it starts today. The fight back starts today in terms of your title credentials and title hopes. There has to be something positive to come from today, Ryan. There simply has to be.
Yeah, absolutely. We thank everybody for joining us. I think that's it's 24, 25 minutes now. I think we've discussed absolutely everybody. Glad to see Alistair Johnston back in the side. Glad that Carter Vickers is on the bench. But I think we'll leave it at that, because we'll have plenty to discuss after the match. We'll be on live after the game, sometime after the game, once the press conferences are over. Please keep a lookout on the website for instant analysis and player ratings as well. Just finally, before we go, actually, just a quick shoot prediction. What do you think the score is going to be today, Tony?
I'll go for a conservative 2-0 win.
I'm going to go for 3-0. Half full. I'm feeling a wee bit. I'm feeling more confident now that I've seen that team. But we'll see how it goes. there's definitely a Jekyll and Hyde with Celtic at the moment. Hopefully we see the former and not the latter. Thank you to everybody that's joined us, regardless of what team you support. We appreciate everybody coming into the comment section and supporting us. If you like what we do and you want to support us even further, then please press that subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. We're getting closer to 10,000, Tony, day by day. I think we're just over 500 away from getting to 10,000, so incredible support over the past couple of months. Please press that button, completely free. And if you want to support us just that wee bit more and you want some instant analysis and instant match ratings, then please visit us on www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. £4 for 4 months, which is a one-time offer, and £18 for a year. You'll get unlimited access to all the things we do. We've got analysis, we've got player ratings, press conferences, we've got analytical pieces, we've got opinion pieces. Anything that you're looking for regarding Celtic is probably on the Celtic Way website. So we do appreciate you subscribing for that if you are able to do so. We'll be back after the game sometime to discuss what happens. In the meantime, there's half an hour to go before the game, so enjoy the rest of the pre-match build-up. We'll see you after the game, and yeah, enjoy.